on 98.7 ESPN.
That it is. What an active, fantastic weekend it was for the New York Knicks. Wait, no, it wasn't. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. By all means, hit us up over at Twitter. We are at Chris Carlin over there. And, of course, the video live stream is at ESPN New York 98.7's Twitter handle, as well as ESPN New York on Facebook and my YouTube page. All the links are over on Twitter. We will get to the Jets, and Adam Gase really out there earning his money right now. And we will also get to Luis Rojas returning for 2021 and why, while I understand it, there was nothing to really justify it. We'll get to all of that in just a little bit. But I do want to start with a relatively inactive weekend for the New York Knicks. No, wait, I forgot. They traded Ed Davis for Amari Spellman, Jacob Evans, and 2 more second-round picks. By the time it's over, the Knicks are going to own all of the second-round picks. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. They brought back Elfrid Payton. You know what else? Nerlens Noel to a 1-year deal. Thank God. And you know what? Alec Burks is also coming, so there's a lot to be apathetic about. You know, honestly, this is getting to a point with the Knicks that when you have a few days of actual excitement, you almost don't want to admit that you know the other shoe's going to drop, or you almost forget that the other shoe's going to drop. And that other shoe dropping was just the fact that nobody wants to come here yet. And frankly, there's good and there's bad to that. We look at what happened over the weekend, or rather what didn't happen over the weekend, and how you look at free agents like Gordon Hayward, like DJ Augustine, all wanting to go other places. And you remember all of a sudden that this is not the destination that it used to be, and that Rome or the world's most famous arena weren't built or rebuilt in a day. It takes time. And Leon Rose and Worldwide Wes are the right guys to try to attract people to come here, and the right guys to put into place that the infrastructure, the atmosphere, the culture is going to be attractive. And it's going to be a place, once again, where players are going to want to come. It hasn't been that for a while for a myriad of reasons, whether it's the owner, whether it's the fact that it's been a terrible organization for a long, long time, whether it's just being in a situation where you just make too many changes and players get frustrated and they want out the door. There has been nothing about it, or just frankly, younger players that don't understand or don't have any way to connect with Madison Square Garden being a special place to play other than being in New York City, and when they come here and realizing it's a big stage, but not necessarily wanting to be here permanently because it hasn't been the best chance to win. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. New York, in a long time, has not presented the best chance to win for other players. It hasn't been attractive primarily because of that. And so this reinforces a point that we made last week that I think we all have to understand. If you're not going to be able to get players to become New York Knicks of their own volition, you're going to have to make them do it and then show them how the atmosphere and the culture is changed. You know, in a lot of ways, it's not unlike what the Jets are going through right now. It's very similar. What do the Jets have to do right now? They have to convince free agents with all the money they have to spend this coming offseason that it's going to be a good place. They have to sell Trevor Lawrence on wanting to be a New York Jet, that he's actually going to have a good chance to be successful in his career here. And this is not a place that you have to avoid at all costs. The Knicks are in a very similar situation. I mean, let's just say this was a year from now and they had the number 1 overall pick. And, you know, we're talking about the kid Cunningham, who's supposed to be the next coming great star. You know, a guy that's, a shooting guard, a 6'7" shooting guard, and he's, you know, hyped by everybody. I can't sit here and tell you I know a whole lot about him, but from all accounts, he's the next big thing. And if he's going to, a year from now, going to say, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be anywhere near that culture because of the reputation they have. No, Leon and Wes and all those guys can sell. But sometimes you have to realize that there's only so much you can sell before it genuinely sets in that you're going to have to make a trade to go get somebody to force them to come here and, frankly, put them in a position where they have to come here, reclaim a reputation, show they're a great player again, and show that they can win a championship if somebody else comes here to join them. Well, the Knicks right now have one option when it comes to that. And I know we've talked about this an awful lot, but this weekend just proved it, guys. You have to wait out this Russell Westbrook situation. Now, I said earlier, it's actually good in some ways, right? I'm glad the Knicks didn't spend $120 million on Gordon Hayward. That would have been a mess. A 4-year deal at $30 million per year for Hayward versus a 3-year deal at $50 million per for Westbrook, that's not close in my mind. I would absolutely want Westbrook, and it's Charlotte. Like, they had to hand over that kind of money to get Gordon Hayward to go there after all along he wanted to go to Indiana but couldn't get there. They had to do it. The Knicks now are in a position where they have to make that trade. They have to bring a Westbrook here to show everybody else that this can be a good place. And Westbrook needs to save his own reputation in a lot of ways. You know, if he's so desperate to win, and he was so frustrated with what was going on in Houston because he's trying to hold players accountable and they don't want to hear it, well, that's a problem when you're Russell Westbrook. There's nothing wrong with having that mentality. But what you do have to realize is at 32 years old, those opportunities are not flying off the shelves at you. So if you're going to come here and you're going to get some young talent around you, which the Knicks have some young talent, if they can develop Barrett, if Mitchell Robinson continues to be better, if they continue to, you know, if Obi Toppin can come in and play a big role as a rookie, which he should at 22 years old. If all of that's the case and you're Westbrook and you're playing here and you're getting this team better, and in a 72-game season, you find your way to the playoffs because that's the only way the Knicks are getting there, then you have to do it. You can't sit and wait on this tanking garbage anymore, okay? I'm not telling you to be impatient because all anybody has been forever is patient. What you have to do is take matters into your own hands as opposed to just waiting and waiting and waiting and hoping. Again, hope is a deadly word in a lot of ways. Hope has killed the Met fan for years. Hope has killed the Jet fan for years. Knick fans haven't even had hope. But when you're hoping to get the number 1 overall pick and there's a lottery, we've already seen what can happen when you don't get it. So it can't be about hope anymore. It has to be about putting some asses in the seats. And I mean on the bench, guys who can actually play. Westbrook can play. And look, We can sit here and debate Westbrook all night long, okay? Please now, after the dust has settled a little bit, tell me what the option is. Giannis isn't signing here. It's not happening. Can we be clear? And the big extensions have been handed out all over the place. Jason Tatum got his. Donovan Mitchell. Remember how the Knicks were going to be in on Donovan Mitchell because he wants to be in New York and all that? No, he wants to be in Utah, where he got $200 million. Don't mistake the idea that money just doesn't do it alone anymore. The only way that kind of money really does it is for the players that you don't want. Gordon Hayward proved the point this weekend. You don't want Gordon Hayward here. He took the most money. It was in Charlotte. It's $120 million. What's Gordon Hayward going to win in Charlotte? A squadouche. You don't want that guy here. You want the players that can be picky when they are getting the big money no matter the situation. That's who you want. So what you have to do now is take a risk, not one that I think is terribly large, and bank on somebody really having something to prove. Because if there was ever anybody in the NBA that has something to prove about winning, it's Russell Westbrook. I told you. If these free agents are not going to come of their own volition, you have to give them a reason. And that reason is Russell Westbrook. Because right now, Leon Rose can only do so much as far as trying to talk guys into coming and having great relationships with guys. 800-919-3776. It's 800-919-ESPN. We are just getting started. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN. Get on the board right now. Shortened show because of, the Jets and the 7 to 8 show with Bart and Dan Grassa with Inside the Jets. But we will talk to you next. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN.
Big
You are down, Carlin.
in Powerball, both jackpots are over $200 million. You could become Jersey's next multimillionaire. After all, any
or that base oil made from natural gas is
What's up, my people on the stream? What's going on? You can comment, and we'll use them. Throw them up there by all means. And I'll put them up on the screen even during the show and reference them as well. You guys had a good weekend? I tell you, I woke up yesterday after a 5-hour game, felt like I got hit by a Mack truck. What do we got, people?
All right, fourth down, game on the line. Uncle Louie, you run a slant past the couch. Dina, I want you to go long around the kitchen table. Break. Set. Hike.
Sure, not everything works as well from home, but seasonal scratch-offs from the New York Lottery sure do. With 4 new games and a top prize of $500,000, they're the perfect gift. To purchase a lottery ticket. Please gift responsibly.
Go ahead.
Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919 ESPN. Let us start tonight on the phones. Anthony in the Bronx. Tony, what's going on?
Hey, Carter, how's everything, man?
I'm great, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I just have a couple of comments about how you were saying about how the Knicks and everything, and how we really didn't do much this free agency. And I get that point. I get you 100% on that. But I also like that we didn't try to do too much. That we didn't give Hayward $120 million, or we didn't give a Bertans almost $90 million.
See, I would not have had a problem with Bertans. Bertans can shoot. You can shoot the lights out.
He can shoot, but once you drafted Obi, all the other bigs kind of went out the picture in the free agency, because you want to give him that chance to grow and develop and become maybe that star that you was looking for the whole time.
Now, look, I understand that, but I hope Toppin turns out to be that, and I love him as a player. I think he could be really, really good for the Knicks, but we're a ways away from what you're talking about. Like right now, year one, we want to see that guy come in and be a solid player.
No, absolutely, 100% right. But that's why I feel like we did the right thing by not going out and getting somebody to stump his development. So I didn't mind missing out on certain free agents, and I'm certainly glad we didn't give Hayward $120 million. I felt like that would have been the old Knicks. That would have been the old regiment, the old regime, just trying out to get a quick fix. I like what Leon Rose did. I like all the little savvy moves he made, getting the assets. Basically, he turned $5 million into 2 players and 4 second-round picks. Like, just little things like that show that the Knicks is going in the right direction. Of course, it's going to take time, and we haven't had a regime that builds the right way, but I feel like we're going in the right steps between the draft, between some of the signings we did. We didn't do nothing to kill our cap for the future years, and we still have room to make trades.
But listen, the big one is Hayward, okay? The fact that they did not go and sign Hayward to that kind of money, thank God, because that would have been a disaster. No, seriously, honestly, if you had added Gordon Hayward to this mix, how much better were the Knicks? They were better, but they were not a really, really solid playoff team, or even definitively a playoff team.
12 seed to what, maybe a 9th seed?
Yeah, somewhere in there, you know? Whereas if you're talking about somebody like Westbrook, you can talk about the 8th and the 7th seed. And I'm so tired of talking about tanking. You know, and I'm reading all about that today. Oh, we're in tank mode again this year. Oh, dear God. I mean, how much longer? How much longer do you sit around and lose games and hope that you become the team that gets the number 1 overall pick at the right time.
Carlin, I'm right with you. Look, I'm about to be 27. I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. I haven't seen a championship.
Yeah, there's a lot of people a lot older than you that haven't seen a championship, including me. And I'm 20 years older than you, dude.
So it's just like I understand it, but I also don't want us to just go out and try to do the quick fix that we always
Of course.
do.
Of course. That's right. They didn't do the quick fix in the bad way, okay? I agree with that. But they do need to do something when the opportunity is presenting itself. And with Westbrook, with Westbrook right now, they're in an amazing situation. And thanks for the call. They're in an amazing situation. They don't have to give the Rockets a damn thing because the Rockets need to get rid of that salary, and there are not many places he can go now. I mean, the Hawks doled out some money this weekend. Can he go there? I don't think that's likely. I don't think so. I just think that right now they're in a very unique situation where, yes, they didn't do anything that killed them. Okay? They didn't do a lot that helped them. Other than the draft, they didn't do very much that helped them at all. John in Freehold is next. John, you're up next on 98.7 ESPN. What's going on?
How you doing, Chris?
I'm great, John. How are you?
Fantastic. Chris, you got to move on from this Russell Westbrook conversation now. That would be a reckless, irresponsible move on behalf of the Knicks.
Why?
The guy's 32 years old. He's had nagging injuries the past 2 years. He has an absorbent contract. And you said you bring him in and other people will come. No, name the free agent that joined him in OKC when he was there, you know, with a stellar roster in place and a great general manager. Who went to go play with him in Houston with Daryl Morey as a solid general manager and a better team?
Well, he was in Houston for 1 year, and he got traded there.
I know he was there 1 year, but who wanted to join
Well,
that
James
team?
Harden was there already. When you have those two guys, you can't pay anybody else.
Chris, look.
The Houston thing you can't sell. And Paul George was with him in Oklahoma City. Paul George was with him in Oklahoma City and went to play with Kawhi. And frankly, I would have done the same thing. But what I'm saying about Westbrook is this guy's got something he has to prove, and that is he knows what his reputation is. He knows exactly what you're talking about right now. And he has something that he has to prove. So if it's not going to be in Houston, why shouldn't it be here with younger players that could get better and turn this into an attractive situation?
I don't see it becoming an attractive situation for the timeline aspect of it, Chris. He's 32 years old. The players
he's not 36.
Developing now he's not going to be.
He's not 36. How long are you just supposed to wait? How long are you supposed to sit and wait and do nothing and develop? How long?
What happened in years past is they didn't develop because they didn't draft properly. They seem to have the right people in place now to draft properly. I like what they did this year. They grabbed two good kids here that they can grow with.
I agree. I like both of them, too.
You look listen, I wanted Sam Presti to come in here, Chris, okay?
Well, he's not here.
Right all the time. It doesn't, you mentioned the word tanking. You don't have to tank. Sam Presti gets guys in the middle of the first round, late first round, second round.
Well, Sam's not here.
Look at his track record.
I'm not arguing that Sam's not a great NBA executive. He's amazing. He's not here. He's not here.
I understand that, but these guys that are here now have a proven track record of success.
No, they don't. Leon Rose has never been a GM before, and Worldwide Wes has been a relationship guy. We're basically walking around for CAA, shaking hands and trying to facilitate things. They don't have a reputation for building organizations.
Chris, I'm talking about the guy they brought in from Cleveland and the guy they brought in from Utah. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, Chris.
Yeah, come on is right, because we're talking about the guys who were in charge. And thanks for the call. And I understand what you're trying to say. You're talking about Westbrook like he's done. He's done at 27-7-7 this past year. He had an injury in the playoffs. Go look at Russell Westbrook's career. and tell me the extended period of time that he has missed that has crushed him. Extended. You know, it's not like Gordon Hayward. It's not like that. I'm just pulling up Westbrook's numbers just to prove the point as far as games played. I'm not counting this year, 57 games in whatever they ended up playing, 60. Year before, 73, 80, 81, 80, 67. This is my point. He's out there every night. 27 points a game this year for Houston. Next to James Harden. 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Wait, I'm sorry. No. 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Come on. He's a dynamite player. Why is it that you have to sit and wait and wait and wait and wait? There's one thing to be impatient, okay? If you want to argue that they haven't had the right people here and they haven't drafted well, I can't argue with that. They have not drafted well. They have not had the right people here in charge. It's been a debacle. 100% debacle. So now if you have to sit for another 4 or 5 years just to get to the playoffs, I don't know how much that works. That doesn't work for me. If your whole year is really revolving around a ping pong ball, okay. It only worked to a degree for the Sixers. I mean, remember, with the ping pong balls, they drafted 3 centers 3 years in a row, and they got Ben Simmons later. So they got Embiid and Simmons as the 2 pieces of what they're doing. And, you know, listen, they're a very good team. They lost a brutal series to Toronto 2 years ago. They got their doors blown off by the Celtics this year, and they're trying to break it up. So my point is simply this. Don't sit and be patient forever. 829, it's Carlin, 98.7 ESPN at 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. The best part about this weekend is what we'll discuss next.
Hey, you are down, Carlin. You got to read here?
Ordering as easy
already?
as possible.
Yeah.
In
Betfair.
the go, so you'll be feeling good to go. It takes 2 simple steps. First, place your order and pay an app, or pick up your order in store or from the drive-thru for an easy, contactless experience. When you're on the go, Dunkin' is here to keep you running. America runs on Dunkin'.
Could do it in 30.
To Cape May, Trenton to Tom's River, people are seeing the benefits of clean energy. In New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, they're finding ways to save money and make their homes and businesses more energy efficient, like saving hundreds of dollars with Energy Star appliance rebates or getting an energy.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Did he get you upset?
He did, but it was good.
Oh, yeah, I like it. Here we go.
Or call 1-866-NJ-SMART. 1-866-NJ-SMART.
All right, bet on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook this football season. America's #1 Here's the best part, right? As Edwin Rosario points out on our comment section over on the live stream, you don't need Hayward. You get Ingram. Speak on it, Carlin. Well, the first part you had right. And that's what we're going to reference because I'm not counting on Brandon Ingram, okay? I don't think he's leaving New Orleans. But I would say this. With Hayward, you did not need him in any way. I honestly think that was the best development of the weekend. If you were not going to get infinitely better, don't get worse at an expensive price. And that's the bullet that they dodged, so to speak. You know, if they were really going to get after it, I would think that you have to, you're going to get after it in free agency, and you're going to spend that kind of money, and you're going to do it on Gordon Hayward. You talk about rolling the dice. That's really rolling the dice. And that's why a team like Charlotte had to do it. Because what is Charlotte winning right now? You know, they have to go and overpay. What makes them an attractive situation? They have to go overpay to get a talent that's, okay, decent. But Gordon Hayward is not going to make any team a championship contender. He's just not. Not at this point in his career. 800-919-3776. They didn't overpay. So that helps. That makes me feel, all right about it. If they had overpaid, that would be more of a problem. RX Meister 55. Give it a rest, Chris, with his cap crippling deal. Your boy says their last caller who said who joined Westbrook in OKC needs to remember that PG re-signed in OKC with Westbrook over the Lakers with LeBron, who wanted Paul George. And then Kevin Durant says, simply, you're high. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. And now Nero chimes in. You got to stop pushing the Westbrook trade. He will not make the team better. He will not attract free agents to the Knicks. The course we are on is legit path, draft, and build stars. So others want to come to New York. Okay. You can sit through a few more years of nobody caring. Nobody giving a damn. Nice players in the draft. Hopefully they continue to be headed in that direction. And you can sit around and you can hope and you can have a draft lottery party if you want. And let's pray that the Knicks somehow end up with the number 1 pick again, only to get let down. And next thing you know, you end up with the 4th pick. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to me that you guys want to sit around and watch this, that you want to sit around and wait. I understand not spending it in the wrong area. I'm all for that. This is not the wrong area. Spike in Jersey. What's up, Spike?
Well, good evening, my friend. 3 quick things for my buddy here. Got to run these by the big fella. First, I want to defend my friend John from Freehold. He's a bring it down to the studs guy. 4 years ago, he suggested Bill Daughtry, who was working in the mornings, and I and John do a podcast. Never came to fruition. But John's a bring it down to the studs guy. John's probably mid-50s, I'm guessing. I can't wait any longer, and I agree with John in better times. But here's the way my weekend started. I left you Friday wanting Fred VanVleet and Victor Oladipo, remember?
Yep.
I wound up with Austin Rivers and Elfrid Payton.
Yeah.
Then I got to sit through the Rutgers game listening to my favorite play-by-play guy. Thought you were going to have a hemorrhage there. I don't want to bring up too much about it because it's not a big topic here. But, boy, was I pissed off. I'll leave it at that. I'll let you talk about it.
I get it, but it's considering what's going on, it's much better than the alternative of what we've seen the last few years.
Yes, if you take that out of it, you're 100% correct.
Well, but you do have to grade on a curve to a degree.
I understand. man, but it was there and it slipped away.
I
And
saw it. I know what you're saying.
The Harbaugh, I wanted to see him his exit the stage right. Listen, it was the
Listen, would I have been broken up if that had been the game that had put him away after 78-0 a couple of years ago? No, I wouldn't have.
And I'll leave you with this, and thanks for the time and all you do for everybody. Here's where I see it. I've come back on wanting Westbrook because of one thing I learned through some of my so-called sources and listening and talking to people. When Oladipo went to Oklahoma City, he made that leap from really good player. I think he was an all-star one year. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. And they asked him why. Now, he's a little kooky, with some of the things he says, but he said he watched Westbrook's workout ethic. Yeah, am I correct on that?
Yeah. And
okay.
He's not the only one.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go. Now, that says it all. You're right. He's 32, not 36. This guy's got a motor. When it conks out, it's just going to stall out in the middle of the Garden State. Then it's going to be over. But he's going to go, as we called in Brooklyn, tear-ass basketball from baseline to baseline. And only John Wall can keep up with him dribbling the ball. And he's had how many knee surgeries? I can't count. So I've come full circle.
Yeah.
I would take him. The last year's a bitch. We know that. But he could teach the three youngsters. We know who they are, R.J. Mitchell and the new fella.
Listen, he may not be,
maybe he could teach
Spike,
him the
he
work
may
ethic.
not be in the last year of the deal, the player that he is right now. But I wouldn't expect it to be, and thanks for the call, I would expect him to be more of a guy that is still playing at a very high level right now. But by the time he gets to 35, I don't think he's going to be an abject disaster or just killing you. I don't see that happening. I see him continuing to be a very productive player. What I'm looking at is this, okay? This year, he comes in. Barrett develops. You have Toppin come in and be a factor right away because I think he can be. Robinson's in a good spot. They approach 500 this year. Is it all fair? 72 games. Can the Knicks win 36? Can they come close to that? I don't think that's outlandish if you had Westbrook. Then what that shows me is somebody comes here next year and wants to be here because all of a sudden they got a great situation. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. Carlin on 98.7 ESPN. We will get to Sandy Alderson speaking up earlier today, including the news that Luis Rojas is going to return for 2021. He's getting a chance. I didn't see much in 2020 that makes me think 2021 is going to be any different. But we'll discuss that in just a little bit. And we will also get into Adam Gase really earning his money right now. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, and on Twitter, at Chris Carlin. By all means, hit us up over there.
Big money is on the line.
You are down, Chris. Did Spike say bitch? I don't think he did, but
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought he did, so I dumped it.
Okay.
I was like, did he say bitch or bench? Because he said it like really fast.
No, he said the last year could be a
bitch. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
Listen, friends, you're going to be spending some time video chatting with the family this holiday season. Well, we have got the perfect guest for everyone's virtual gathering. It's New York Jets quarterback Sam Darnold. 98.7 ESPN's Sam and the Fam sweepstakes. Now, here's how you win. Send us a brief message telling us why Sam should hang with your family for a 30-minute virtual huddle. Send that message to us at 987ESPN at gmail.com. That's 987ESPN at gmail.com. Winners will each get a one-of-a-kind experience with friends and family to have a virtual hangout with Sam Darnold. It's all from your home of the hookup and your home of the hangout. 98.7 ESPN. Carlin at, 849, 800-919-3776. You know, the Jets just give you, it's such a conundrum these days because you watch and you want them to lose, right? But you can't watch and not help get frustrated in a lot of ways. And I'm not getting frustrated about the defense when you're starting, in essence, 3 rookies in the secondary. You know, Ashton Davis actually looked pretty decent yesterday. Bryce Hall, I didn't think was that bad at all. It could have been worse, but Justin Herbert's a tremendous player, and he's got good weapons to work with. What I am frustrated with is the complete lack of imagination that the offense continually shows. When you are a team that does not have talent, you have to find other ways to win. And that means you have to outcoach the other team. That has not happened once this season. And maybe once or twice in 2 years. And whether Dow Loggins is calling the plays, whether Adam Gase is calling the plays, their little mystery yesterday that was going on during the game, I don't care. Neither one of them actually came up with anything imaginative. They remembered in the second half that you're actually in the game allowed to throw the football more than 10 yards in the air and allowed to throw the football to your wide receivers. It's almost as if somebody came into the locker room at halftime with a rule book saying, hey, I just found something out. Look at this. And so they tried to in the second half. You know, while it was a little bit better, have the Jets tried one trick play, one real misdirection play all season long? I mean, I'm not counting a jet sweep as that, so to speak. One fake punt. I know they've been burned by a fake punt, a fake field goal somewhere. Any sort of trick play on offense, anything that might catch the other team napping. Anything. Like actually throwing the ball down the field doesn't really count, but once they did it, it actually paid off. A reverse. Something. I can't remember one all year. And when you're outmanned, you have to come up with something. Here's how you know how badly the Jets were outmanned yesterday. They're playing a 2-7 football team with a rookie quarterback who's looked good, yes, but a 2-7 football team in a building where there are no fans whatsoever. And it's a brand new building. And the Jets were 10.5-point underdogs. That's how little everyone thinks of the talent they have. And then you go and look and see how much they've been outscored by. They've been outscored by 150 points this year. That's how bad they are. So when you are that bad, you have to come up with other ways to make games interesting, to keep things close. Whether it's a reverse pass, whether it's, a sweep pass, whatever it is, you gotta try something. And Adam Gase isn't even trying anything. Dow Loggins isn't trying any of that. What are you saving it for? Honestly. What am I missing here? And I know we want them to lose. I understand that. But I've said this a few times this year, and specifically a few weeks ago. Why would I for a minute believe that Adam Gase at this point doesn't just want to get fired? Because that's what it looks like to me. He has come to the conclusion of what his fate is and is going to ride that out. Like, why would I think otherwise? He just wants this to be over with. He's earning his money by staying and ensuring they get the number 1 pick. I guess we could say that. Other than that, where is he earning it? Where is he earning it? I had to sneeze, by the way. Everybody on the video stream got to see that. Hope you enjoyed it. This is my point. When you have a chance to at least try, why not? Why not show that you actually care? You know, Flacco can throw the football down the field, and it's like you just figured that out in the second half. You've got a couple of guys who are capable. I mean, Mims has shown himself to be capable. Take chances. Take shots. Try to make something happen. And not only that, just come up with something that they may not be expecting. You are just a bad football team with very little talent. And now you have become the most predictable offensive team. Wow, I mean, that's a remarkably brutal combination. Kevin in Rockland is next on 98.7 ESPN. Kevin, how you doing, brother? What's going on?
I don't know if you remember me. I'm the guy we talked about Rick's Club American, and we talked about splitting our pants at the weddings.
Oh, yeah, sure. Did both of those things.
Yeah, but whatever.
Is Rick still open or not?
What, my pants?
No. I know your pants are still ripped.
Rick's definitely still open, and it's still awesome.
Okay, all right, that's good. They had great wings from what I remember.
But anyway, I want to talk about the Knicks, but I want to touch on the Jets real quick first also. Dude, Adam Gase is supposed to be an offensive genius, offensive guru. I mean, do something. Run an option. Anything. I mean, like, dude, do you care about, like, trying to get another job anywhere ever in the history of football again?
Yeah. You're not even trying anything remotely tricky that you haven't shown all season long. Nobody's sitting around waiting for it because you've become so brutally predictable in every way on offense.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want the Jets to win.
No, me neither. But at least you got to admit, even though you don't want them to win, it is counterintuitive to sit there and not get ticked off when they're doing some things like they're doing right now.
Oh, 100%. But let me get to the Knicks real quick. The Knicks, I mean, like, I agree with you with the Westbrook, and I said that before. Like, yeah, Westbrook's a fluid player. Don't get me wrong. If Westbrook comes here, he's the best player the Knicks have had in the last 5-7 years. And the last guy who came here by himself basically got ran out of town. Guys are not coming to a team that has zero chance of making the playoffs. If Westbrook comes here and we slide into a 7th, 8th seed, maybe a guy's like, you know what? Maybe I go there. I can be the difference maker.
Well, if you go there and you look at Westbrook and you look at some of the other pieces, if they develop, somebody in the short term could look at that and say, you know what? Maybe I'd give that a shot.
150%.
Yeah. These guys are besides like the long-term deals are the max deals that they're getting by staying put. You know, otherwise, everybody else, the big-time free agents are signing like 2-year, 3-year deals with options, opt-outs, and all that.
The last thing I want to say about Westbrook. When's the last time the Knicks had a guy who averaged 10 assists or 10 rebounds?
Yeah, I think it was Clyde, basically. And Clyde and or Patrick. I got to go. Thanks for the call. I'm sorry we should cut it short, but that's the point. They haven't had him in forever. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919-3776. We get to the Mets as well in moments.
You
Just use bonus code DAVE100, that's DAVE 100, when you make your first bet to take advantage of this offer. If
You're listening to Chris Carlin on 98.7 ESPN.
Yes! 800-919-3776 on Twitter at Chris Carlin. By all means, fire away over there. We'll get to some of those shortly, including some who are siding with me on this whole Peter hosting alone on Friday bit, which is, it's just frankly garbage on his part, but that's, to be expected. We'll discuss in just a little bit. We have done quite a bit in terms of the Knicks. We have done quite a bit in terms of the who were we just talking about? I'm out of my mind here. We're talking about the Jets a minute ago. And I got distracted like something shiny off in the distance. I swear to God, my ADD sometimes is just so out there.
I thought you sneezed again. I was like, what's going on?
No. I honestly brain locked for a half a second, Brian. Like, that's what's going on. My mind is just shot to hell these days. I did the game the other night. I felt like I got hit by a Mack truck on Sunday morning. So 4.5 hour game, 4 hours and 40 minutes.
That's college football for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, it was fun though. But we, earlier today we had Sandy Alderson speaking and told the media two things. They are now focusing on two things in particular. Number one, they don't want to hire a president of baseball operations, as it turns out. They have gone down a couple of roads. They haven't really been able to get far with anybody. They haven't gotten permission from a couple of people to talk to people for the job. One thing that Sandy did say, though, is they didn't even reach out to Theo Epstein. Does that annoy you that they didn't even reach out to him? Unless they feel like definitively he's a year away and is going to stick to that. And if that's the case, maybe they'll talk about doing it a year from now. But you can't do that and then have a GM. And that's what they seem to be focusing on right now, is hiring a general manager as opposed to a president of baseball operations. And that Sandy, for the moment, is going to have a more active role in being the president of baseball operations, as opposed to just what he was going to do before, which was be at the table, as he said, but looks and sounds more and more like he's going to be at the head of the table. And if that's the case, I feel good about it. I feel good about Sandy being there. I think that he's, just fine at this point to be in charge of it. I had no problem with him putting it all together. But for Sandy to do that, I think is a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing for the long haul, because I don't think that's what he had in mind. But I think it's a good thing for the short term. The one thing I understand why they did it, but I'm still far from convinced. You'll remember that when they hired Luis Rojas after the whole Carlos Beltran debacle, I was not for the move. And the reason being, I felt like the Mets were in a situation in a shortened year where they needed to have someone there who had had the experience of being a manager before, of understanding what that was all about. And at the time, I felt, frankly, that they should have given Terry Collins an opportunity to do that. But, it worked out the way that it did, and Rojas came on. Now, I am not going to sit there and bury Luis Rojas off of what happened this year, because it was such a bizarre season, and the Mets were in the midst of the sale and everything that goes with that, and the uncertainty around COVID and dealing with all of it, that you didn't really, to me, I had a lower expectation for the Mets than others did. And so when they didn't deliver, I wasn't that shocked. I really wasn't. So Rojas did not have a very big impact on this team. Guys may like him, all that stuff. That's fine. But I didn't see a team that was better because Luis Rojas was the manager. I didn't see all these amazing qualities and everything that he had done, all of the just all of the goodwill he had built up with a lot of the younger players in coming up through the organization, making a difference. I am far from sold on Luis Rojas being the guy, and he's going to get an opportunity for this coming year, but that's basically about it. Good for him. I want Luis Rojas to succeed. I don't know that he's going to be a great manager just because he's done all of these different things through baseball, through the Mets organization throughout the years. I don't feel great about that. I don't. Now, if they're adding more talent, that's obviously going to make him look a lot better. And the Mets do need to add talent. I'm going to continue to stress that from this standpoint. It's not trade, it's add. It's add. It's George Springer, whether or not they want to get in on Real Muto. whether or not they want to get in on LeMahieu and certainly Trevor Bauer, the Mets have to be in the adding talent mentality. And you heard Sandy talk about it earlier today, something I discussed quite a bit last week, the need for depth. And, they made a couple of minor signings last week in terms of that. But I'm talking about some of the guys that they have already that are everyday players that have shown they can play every day, yes, but you wouldn't mind having them in more of a role off of the bench or more versatility. I wouldn't mind having J.D. Davis not be in your everyday lineup. I wouldn't mind not having Brandon Nimmo in your everyday lineup, even though he had a good year this past year. I wouldn't mind seeing them playing more of a depth role. Nimmo being able to come in and play a couple of different outfield positions to spell guys during the week. J.D. Davis with a little bit of versatility as well, between playing some left and playing some third, even though he's not very good in the left. This is my point. Sandy's focusing more on the depth, and I think that's a very good thing. Outside of the manager, one other thing, too, that he mentioned is that they're not a player away. And I thought that was great. So outside of the manager, I think there's a lot of good things that he had to say today that have you very positive about what's happening outside of the Steve Cohen development. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but really want to see how this free agency period plays out, how much they're going to be able to add, as opposed to trade away. I don't think they're going to be doing much trading away. I think your ideas on Arenado or Lindor, I would not be terribly optimistic that that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. Arenado only if it's strictly a salary dump. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. We return to the calls. Oh, and our buddy Richard is up. Hello, Richard. Richard in Manhattan.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Richard. No. No! Wow. Nick in Rockaway. Nick, what's going on with you tonight, brother?
How's it going, Carlin?
I'm good. How you?
I'm doing well, thanks. So I want to talk about the Knicks situation. I'm not really a basketball fan. I enjoy the sport. I enjoy playing. I just never really latched onto a team. But I've heard all this talk about Russell Westbrook and everything. And I just saw on Facebook that Isaiah Thomas is a free agent. Is he an option for the Knicks to consider?
I would not go down that road.
No, with the injuries and everything. I don't know.
Yeah, and I just don't think he fits what you're looking for right now. I really don't. I know the idea of wanting to get more talent there, but I think Isaiah Thomas's time has really passed.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Fine. Hey, I appreciate your opinion, and you have a happy holiday, all right?
You as well. Thank you, Nick, for checking in. 800-919-3776. Open lines, got time for you. It's you and me the rest of the way. Get on board at 800-919-3776. We'll get to some of your tweets as well over at Chris Carlin. 98.7 ESPN at 12 minutes past 9 o'clock. 800-919-3776. Michael K. Show's 20 and 20 contest ends in the 3 p.m. hour tomorrow. It's your last chance to score big. So make sure you're tuned in. For tomorrow, the guys are giving away $1,000 in cash. It's the 20 and 20 contest, and it's brought to you by PC Richard & Son. Kansas City Steak, the Bartesian, premium cocktails on demand, and 98.7 ESPN. And so, friends, we have discussed quite a bit about the Knicks. We could take your calls on the fact that they, really didn't do anything. We will also take more of your calls on Sandy and the Mets and how close we're getting here to the Mets actually making some moves and getting close to the Mets having a new general manager. We will also discuss, as we have just a bit, the Jets, Adam Gase, and why he's really, at this point, in my estimation, just trying to end it as soon as he can. But I digress. I gotta say, and this was just a weird moment for me this weekend. Get on the lines right now, by the way. Oh, they're open up. 800-919-3776. Good time to get through. So I'm at the Rutgers game on Saturday night. And, everybody's doing their part to be socially distant, to make sure that they're doing all the right things and being very cognizant of one another in and around the press box, because there's nobody there. There's only the operations people who are really running the game, and obviously myself and Ray and Fooch and our engineer, producer, Paul Schrager, and Eric LeGrand's been doing the games with us, but he's been doing them from home for safety's sake. And so I'm walking around at halftime, just kind of clearing my head, taking a little break, drinking some water. And someone came up to me and was saying just some lovely things. Nice guy, out of nowhere. And he's got the mask halfway down, and he sticks out his hand to shake my hand. And I just looked at it for a second. And honest to God, the way things are going, it felt like he was handing me a bomb. Like, that's what's happened to me mentally. I'd be happy to shake hands. I'm a hugger. I'm a guy that put my arm around you, slap you on the back. I'll be that guy. And I shook his hand, but I hesitated. I'm like, oh. And I went in and did it because I didn't want to be rude. But immediately my head's on a swivel looking for a hand sanitizing station. And it's nothing against this guy personally, but that's what it's become here. It's so weird. It was as if he was handing me a bomb. That's what it felt like. Brian, am I alone in this? Has anybody tried to shake your hand during all of this kind of stuff? Because for me, it was the first time it has happened in months.
Well,
I get the elbow. I occasionally get the fist. I put that the wrong way. I get, bump the fist. Yeah. But, it's not anything too crazy like that. That's about as far as it goes. Has anybody tried to shake your hand?
Well, sometimes to work, I take mass transit.
Okay.
So, there's people that come on the train stop and get really, really close to you asking for money.
Okay.
And sometimes they have a mask, and sometimes they do not have a mask.
And that will make you a little uneasy.
Yes. And I have to be like, okay, walk away a little. Like, I'd be like, mask, where's your mask? Like, I have to be that guy.
No, I know.
It's very annoying because I'm a little paranoid now, because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get my family sick.
Sure.
So,
I mean, listen.
It's very annoying.
I know. And it's frustrating for a guy like me in particular, just because I am the slap you on the back, hug you kind of guy. Like, that's who I am. And then all of a sudden I've become this other person that I don't want to be. And it's unfortunate, but it's the situation that we're in. And I just looked at him, and like, there was no thought on his part that I had offended him. He understood. But I did shake his hand, and even afterward, I was like, I don't know. Should I have not done it? Should I have done it? I don't want to offend the guy. He was saying such nice things, really unprovoked. And so I was just trying to be, as respectful as possible. But that really threw me off. And I'm just wondering if other people have had that same kind of thing. And I'm not looking to get into the whole thing about the virus or any of that right now. Not at all. Just that particular aspect of it. Like, I miss that human connection with people in the worst way, because like after it, I was like, normally I'd say, I'd spend 10 minutes BSing with that guy. I couldn't because I had to go back and do the second half. But, basically putting my arm around a guy, hugging him, the whole thing. Really nice on his part. But it just completely threw me off. Completely. I don't know. 800-919-3776. Maybe I'm just a jerk. How about that? Andres in Flushing is next. 98.7 ESPN. Andres, what's going on tonight, brother?
What's up, Carlin? How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. So I was just listening to what you were saying. You sounded pretty upset about Gase and the Jets, and just something about the Mets after that. About Gase and the Jets, man, listen, I think the guy is doing the best job you could want to coach in this situation for the Jets to do. Why even take a risk of winning a game?
Yeah, I know. I know I am being hypocritical. There's no question I'm being hypocritical. I want them to lose. I want them to have the number one pick. I don't want them to have the number one pick and have Trevor Lawrence not want to come here. But I understand he's doing the best that he can, because, frankly, that's his job right now, without making it look like they're tanking completely, And I know that coaches want to win games. I understand that. But that's the thing. Like, I've always been taught that coaches have one mindset and players have one mindset, and that's to win games. And they're not thinking about draft picks. But Gase has to know at this point he's not going to be back next year. Of course he knows that. So why would it matter to him either way than try to go win some games? That's all I'm saying.
Well, look, any other team is going to look at him and say, all right, he didn't think just of himself and ruin their chances. Plus, what you say about Lawrence not wanting to come here, in every sport, the number one pick usually goes to the very worst team. Very few and far between are the guys that actually don't go where they're drafted. And it's always a horrible team. I mean, I can probably on one hand, in all sports together in the last 10 years, people that decided not to go. It doesn't happen, really. No,
it doesn't happen very often. It happened notably with Eli. And it happened, notably with John Elway. It happened, notably with Peyton Manning, who went back to college. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going back to college. But I do think there's a chance that he could say, I'm not playing for the Jets.
Well, anything can happen. But also, when the Mets.
Yeah.
I think that as soon as – I love Sandy. I believe he's the best guy for the job. I'm so glad Colin brought him back, because what the Wilpons did to him was an absolute shame, and it was a disgrace.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated it at the time.
I think Sandy absolutely contacted Epstein. I think he knows for a fact Epstein wants to take a year off. And I believe, I'm saying it today, Epstein will be our president.
Yeah, the only problem is if you're going to hire a general manager and it's not somebody who's interim, then what are you doing to the president of operations when he comes in and he can't hire his own guy? It all presents all little problems there. So I don't know that they're going to be hiring a GM at this point, or rather a president of baseball ops at this point when they say they're hiring a GM. Because you're telling whoever that is, you're giving him what, a 2 or 3 year deal at most, and you're in essence saying you're not going to be in charge of making any decisions here moving forward. Why would they come?
Well, look, the president, whoever he would have been, he was going to sign a GM also. You have a president and a GM. I think they're going to sign a GM, and he's going to be an Epstein guy. I think whoever they sign as GM will be a guy that Epstein will work with, has worked with, something like that. And I think Epstein will be here next year.
I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. Let's call him Theo instead of Epstein. How about that? Like, that's unfortunate when you get that last name now. And you're Theo, and you had done a lot of good things for that name, and now it's, let's stick to Theo. How about that? I'm sure Theo wants us to stick to Theo right now. 800-919-3776. It's Carlin, 98.7 ESPN. Nothing but time for you. Our man Richard is going to sit tight for a moment. He disappeared when we went to him. I don't know what happened. I'm not casting aspersions upon him. Sit tight, Richard. We will get to you when we come back. It's Carlin, 98.7 ESPN. Got it.
You are down, Chris.
I got it.
Read here.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the most dominant tackle in this draft. Are committed. Guys that are passionate about ball.
I got it.
Cool. All right, doing it in 15.
Cover your ball of the day. Watch One Jets Drive. The Emmy Award-winning docuseries presented by JetBlue. See it on Facebook, YouTube, and nyjets.com.
All right, friends, you can bet on all the action at FanDuel Sportsbook this football season. America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique bet types like same-game parlay, and exclusive promotions. If you win, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Now, right now, FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Just place a bet on any game, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back if you don't win your first bet. No strings attached. Place any bet you want. If you win, you keep that cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in site credit. Maybe you're looking at the 49ers and the Rams next week. How about that? Maybe some Cam Akers rushing yardage. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. Be sure to sign up with the promo code Carlin so they know the big fella sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook promo code Carlin. Must be 21 and older, present in New Jersey or Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. Site credit, non-withdrawable. Expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You are down, Chris.
Bustling with activity. Handle it all with Happy Honda Days. Bringing skis to the cabin? The Honda CR-V and HR-V make it easy. Take on the season with financing as low as 0.9% APR on the 2020 CR-V and as low as 1.9% APR on the 2021 HR-V on select models for well-qualified buyers.
Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details. I am one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC,
which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body.
I am living in the moment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy.
Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Patients taking Ibrance can develop low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infections that can lead to death. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs that can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are pregnant, breastfeeding, or plan to become pregnant. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
The Season of Inspiration sales event is here at Open Road Mazda of East Brunswick and Open Road Mazda of Morristown. Don't miss model year-end offers like available 0% APR financing for 63 months and no payments for 90 days on over 500 new in-stock vehicles, including the dynamic all-wheel drive 2020 Mazda CX-5. Now at Open Road Mazda of East Brunswick on Route 18 and Open Road Mazda of Morristown on Ridgedale Ave. Click, shop, we deliver at openroadmazda.com. Call 877-782-1386 for details. details.
What can help you take advantage of today's low mortgage rates and save money? Rocket can. You could save hundreds of dollars every month by refinancing with Rocket Mortgage at today's near historic low rates. If your current rate is over 4%, you could lower your payment by over $150 a month, saving thousands in interest every year. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Savings are based on Quicken Loans, internal data. Points and fees may apply. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and NMLSconsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Keyshawn Johnson.
You took Kyler Murray and stuck him in Baltimore. I believe you'll get the same thing Arizona's getting now.
He knows the NFL.
But don't say that if he was in Baltimore right now, they'd have a better shot at winning the Super Bowl. No, that's a lie.
And the NFL knows him.
If you took those weapons that's in Arizona and dropped them in Baltimore along with Kyler Murray, that's a different story.
Get inside the NFL with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin every morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Available at Pet Boys.
It's Christmas in November at Mazda of Lodi during the season of inspirations.
All right, coming back here.
Everyone's a winner. Shop online 24/7 at MazdaofLodi.com.
Go ahead.
Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919-3776. Also on the video stream as well at 98.7 ESPN's Twitter account and also at ESPN New York's Facebook page in addition to my YouTube page. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN. Let's go at 800-919-3776. Let's do it again. I was afraid that, as one person put it on Twitter, that the purge maybe actually got you.
Hi, Chris. No, I'm here. Chris, Gordon Hayward, if the Knicks would have gotten him, that would have been akin to when they got Kiki Vandeweghe. Wouldn't have helped much.
No, it wouldn't have made a big difference. No, listen, he's a good player, but I think he's a player best suited with other great players around him.
No, we don't need him.
No.
Chris, you've called probably the two best college football games this season. The Illinois game and the Michigan game. I mean, it's been unbelievable.
I mean, they've been good games. Unfortunately, Rutgers come out on the short end. The other night was a marathon.
But the fact that Shiano has brought this program back from where it was.
Very true. Very
it's
true.
Great. It's got a lot of good things are going to happen, and it's going to bring a big following in the metropolitan area. It's great.
Well, this is the thing. The one thing we have seen, Richard, is when Rutgers is good, people show up in the stadium.
Sure.
Jersey's
just like New York. I root for Jersey just like I root for the New York teams.
Yeah.
That's why St. John's is so important in basketball, because that's all our college basketball, and the whole state just about college basketball when St. John's is good. Chris, that Minnesota-Dallas football game yesterday, I saw two catches. Now, in the old days, you wouldn't see catches like that in a whole season.
Yeah.
And I saw two of the catches, Thielen in the end zone, one-handed.
Thielen's catch was amazing.
And D.D.
CD Lamb,
turning around, twisting, and diving on his back. And
it was damn impressive. It was damn impressive.
Chris, the difference, you can't say the wide receivers, it's because of the rules or what they're doing. The skill level now is so much better than the old days. Now, the only thing you can say is they throw the ball much more now, so there's more opportunity.
Right.
For the great. But these players, not just the athleticism, the concentration, the focus. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I think it's all of the above, Richard. I think you're right about that. I think you're 100%
right. Nothing to do with the rule changes. You can say in the old days the cornerbacks couldn't get up on him and hit him, but it doesn't matter. They still had to complete the pass. The only way I would the only guy I would compare these guys to, like Fred Politnikov. You remember Fred Politnikov?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I never saw him play, but yes, I know who you're talking.
And he still made all these wide receivers.
that's what I would say, Richard. Your greatest point in all of that, and thanks for the call, is that, yeah, appreciate it, man, is that you're looking at guys who are covered exceptionally well, and they're still giving up touchdowns. I mean, the touchdown pass to Keenan Allen yesterday from Herbert, I mean, that's just a case. I mean, he could not have been covered better. And he just took a half a step back, and it was rifled into his chest. I mean, that was an amazing, amazing throw by Herbert. And so that's the thing. You have much more skilled both quarterbacks and receivers right now. Much more athletic, can go up and make plays. There were great, don't get me wrong, there were great wide receivers back in the day too. But let's just be clear. What you're dealing with now is just on a whole nother level. Avi's in New Jersey next, 98.7 ESPN. Avi, what's going on?
Chris, what's going on? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Okay. So I had a quick Giants point, but just to, you read a FanDuel promo before, and it even comes quicker than 24 hours. It usually comes in within minutes after the game ends, which is cool.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're talking about when it gets put into your account. I'm talking about when you actually go and withdraw and take the money home, take the actual money home.
Gotcha, okay.
They do a good job. I use them. They do a good job. They really do. Yeah. I've got the Buccaneers minus 3.5 and the over at plus 500.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're rooting for the same thing because I just have the over.
Okay.
I try to be conservative and not do too much. Quick question about that. Has it been overall a worthy investment on your part?
Well, the Bucs are losing 17-14, but the over-under is headed in the right direction.
In your career on FanDuel Sportsbook, are you?
Oh, am I plus or am I minus? I am slightly plus.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay.
Slightly. And I do mean slightly. And I'll be honest with you, I don't bet big money at all. Because I am the kind of guy that I could get way too tied up in it, but I enjoy it just because it adds a little something extra to the game. But frankly,
correct. If you're not a fan of either team, it gives you more to root for.
Yeah, it gives you some interest in the game. Put it that way.
Correct. Okay, so I had a question. I'm in the part of New Jersey that catches the New York and the Philly stations.
As am I, yes. Where are you?
Oh, you are? I am in Ocean County.
Okay, there you go.
Lakewood.
Nice.
So I used to listen to you when you were on 94.1, and then you moved over to New York. Hypothetically, before I get to my Giants point, if you were offered the slot back at the afternoon drive on 94.1, would you take it, or would you rather stay in New York?
I think I'd probably stay put right now. That's not going to happen. And John Marks and Ike Reese are there. Ike's my guy who I was doing the shows with, and John's doing an amazing job since he took over for me. They're number one right now. They're doing fantastic. So
are they beating Missinelli, really?
Yeah. As far as I know, last check, yeah. And the other thing too about them is that I know people here don't want to hear it, but like I grew up in North Jersey. Philly was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I enjoyed every minute of it. And I was only there for a year, but I couldn't get enough of it. And still talk to all the people down there.
Okay, so that's good to hear. Because I'm more of a New York guy than a Philly guy. That's where my parents are from, New York and Philly. But I would rather New York do well. Would you think it's a smart wager or a worth it wager to bet the Giants to win the NFC East? Because it's a great payout.
I don't think it's bad. I mean, what is the number right now?
I think it's plus 300.
That's not bad. I mean, honestly, why not? Why not right now? You know, I don't trust the Cowboys to win the division. I don't trust the Cowboys to win the division at all.
And the Eagles are falling apart. Yep.
Thanks for the call, Avi. I personally think that, the Eagles are a disaster right now. The Cowboys win yesterday, and, I see Skip Bayless's stupid little dance, and, mission accomplished. It annoyed me to no end. That's what I'm saying. Like, Cowboy fans, you're on the same page as Skip Bayless. If that has never been a red flag for being just a complete and utter character flaw in yourself, like, what are you waiting for to really make sure that you know that to be the case? I've said it before, I'll say it again. Being a Cowboy fan is a major character flaw. And I mean that legitimately. Like, I personally would not trust someone who is a Cowboy fan. They would have to do a lot to earn my trust. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN. Nothing but you and me the rest of the way. Load up the lines. They're open right now. We shall do it. Carlin, with you on 98.7 ESPN.
Big money
You are down.
is in Powerball. Both jackpots are over $200 million. You could become Jersey's next multimillionaire. After all, anything can happen in Jersey.
Hey, Verizon customers, are you tired of paying all those extra taxes and fees? The average Verizon wireless customer pays over $120 a year in added taxes and fees. With Spectrum Mobile,
can we get out of the mentality of tanking? Because they just have been stuck in it for so long that it is so frustrating to deal with. You know, they have to sit there and lose more games and hope and pray that they can get another high draft pick or another number 1 overall pick, which they haven't had in forever. And all it's doing is hoping. And hoping is just, in a lot of ways, it's not a good thing. It's not. And I know you want to have hope for the future. There's nothing wrong with that. But hoping that you're going to get something that is completely out of your hands altogether, that's just, it's asking for trouble. It's asking for heartbreak. It's asking for disappointment. So that's why when you can't attract free agents to come here and be the guy, right? Want to be the first guy to walk through the door and really join what you're trying to do to make it special. Even when you have people like Leon Rose and Worldwide West trying to sell it, you don't get them to do it voluntarily when it's been 20 years since they've really been relevant on a major level. So when all of that's the case, you have to find a way to get somebody there by forcing them there, and that's the trade. And that's why I've been pushing the Westbrook thing, guys, because nobody is coming here voluntarily yet. You have to prove that it's worth it. And a guy like Westbrook can come here, play well, prove that it's worth it. 800-919-3776. Justice in the Bronx is next. Justice, what's going on?
Carlin, how you doing this evening, my brother?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I do have to respond with you, but I'm with you, man. This evening, I'm really, really with you. Only because we have to do something better. We have to. If you're not doing the Westbrook thing, you're not doing nothing. If you're doing this little Peyton thing, Austin Rivers, come on, man. We all know he's only in the league for his father.
And it's, look, it's, but with Austin Rivers, only the 1 year is guaranteed. So don't get nuts about that.
Well, I'm just nuts because he's coming over here. I guarantee you, he goes to West Fork and you go to Rutgers, they're going to show his real talent that he ain't got none. So other than that, I'm with you. But at one time in frame, when do I hear Tim Thibodeau come out and say, I'm going to do this to go do this? I need to hear that. I need to hear that because that's my.
Well, but I don't understand what you're saying. Like, you think he's going to give away the entire plan?
No, not at all. I just know how tough he is, and I know how great he is with young talent. I'm just saying I need him to come out. Let me get like one interview to give me some type of sense of where you're going. Because you did, like you said, nothing this weekend. Silent weekend. The best thing about this weekend was probably the Vikings and the Cowboys game, like the Colts game or something like that. I'm hearing nothing what New York's doing, but everybody else is doing something.
Yeah, the Knicks don't. Nothing in terms of the deal and getting people here, or nothing in terms of explanations on what's going on, or both.
Explanation, both.
Yeah.
Explanation of what's going on. Number one, you know I love NBA. I love the Knicks all day. I know I'm 45 right now. I know I'm not going to see a parade. I just want to make sure. Come on, Colin. I know you laugh at that. You always laugh at it, but it's not funny.
No, I know it's not funny, but it's just.
I almost saw one.
It's the skepticism that is well earned.
I'll tell you a real story that I had a girlfriend at 16 years old. That sixth game, I had Starks when he dunked on Jordan. I ripped that poster down, and I never put a Knick poster up ever in my life. I'm with that. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to tell you, yo, Tim, come on, talk to us. Because I know whatever's upstairs, he don't care about. He's a strong dude. He's an old school dude, you know? I like that. What we did this weekend was nothing. We throwing buckets for no reason. Like, all right, for all that, let's start doing what Philadelphia did one year. They looked at the people in the city and had them try out for the team, and somebody made it. Let's do that too. Let's go to Rutgers and let's go to West Fork and come on, Carlin. I know you thought about it.
No, I didn't. I tried out for the Globetrotters once. It didn't work well. But look, I get it. You're frustrated. You want to hear what's going on. we've only heard from Leon Rose once, and it would be nice to hear from him more than that. You know, I mean, it would be nice to hear from him after all of this went down over the weekend. But the Knicks are not a team or an organization that puts their people out there very much. They just don't.
Carlin, can I ask you one question? And I'll leave you at that, please, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Why is it that we have the worst record, we have the worst team, but we have the most expensive seats in all NBA arenas?
Because it's New York.
Kobe and Shaq.
Because it's New York. That's why.
But is that not embarrassing? You're taking advantage of people that really love you.
It's a lot. Yeah, look, it's.
Love NY.
I can't ever justify ticket prices, and I appreciate the call. They're off the charts. They're off the charts. Should they be more affordable? Of course they should. But the reason that, you know, the ticket prices cost what they cost these days is because what the players are making, what everybody's making. And look, you don't go somewhere else and instantly they are remarkably affordable. Okay? A couple of years ago, the year I went to Philadelphia, I bought a 10-game package, and the Sixers were not good yet. Embiid was healthy for part of the season. It was the 2016-2017 season. I bought a 10-game package, and the seats were lower bowl, but, you know, far in the corner in the lower bowl. And it was kind of extended out. In other words, it was like, you know, it wasn't a close lower bowl at Wells Fargo down there. So with that in mind, I got my tickets, and the price on the tickets, I mean, I think the 2 tickets for 10 games cost like $2,500 or something ridiculous. And I ended up, you know, splitting them with somebody. But, I mean, it's not just here. It is everywhere in the league. Gary in New Jersey is next, 98.7 ESPN. Gary.
What's up, Carlin? Good evening, I should say, not good afternoon.
How are you?
How's everything?
Good.
I just heard you talking about ticket prices, and I can understand that. I went to a Jets-Raiders game. My dad took my dad with me. My dad had never been to a professional football game. He'd been to college football games before. But to get my dad, my brother, and myself cheap seats at MetLife Stadium to watch the Jets and Raiders play cost me almost, I want to say $330, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
That was the cheap seats, and I bought them like 2 weeks out. So I'd say that's the catch-22 because got them for $330 2 weeks out, but it was still expensive because the Jets were just trash last year, and they're even worse this year. I had a comment and I had a question, and I'll try to be brief because I know you got to get to other people as well. My comment is that for all the Knicks fans out there, as somebody who's a fan of the Jets, I would tell people, give them
Knicks.
The team got new management and everything like that. Give them a chance to see what happens because, you know, as a Jets fan, I know Adam Gase is probably gone. Not Mike McCagnon. But,
Joe Douglas is. Listen, I have faith in Douglas to get it done.
Exactly. I give him the benefit of the doubt because.
And I have faith in Leon Rose to get it done too. It's going to take some time, though, Gary. It's going to. I just don't want to. If there are opportunities to make it quicker, do it.
Yeah, I just don't want to see them get like people are saying like, oh, why didn't get this guy, get that guy, you know? And don't take this the wrong way. I'm a Nets fan, so I'm expecting them to do big things, but I'm a huge supporter of all the New York, New Jersey area teams. So, you know, I say like, don't buy into all the hype of making trades for veterans and all this stuff because if you got a bunch of young guys that you drafted that the team liked, give them an opportunity.
Yeah, no, I understand that, Gary, and thanks for the call. I got to go, unfortunately. But the point is that they have been waiting for a long time. And to me, a 3-year investment on Westbrook is not going to kill you. Great job, Brian Munguia. It is Larry Hardesty, ESPN New York Tonight. Up next, we will see you tomorrow at 7. Stay handsome. Carlin out.
Hi, my name's Bar Scott. I know what it's like.
You are